And so a Sunday worship gathering, a church service, is not just a pit stop in life to fill up your tank or for you to refuel so you can go back to living in the kingdom of the world. But rather, a Sunday gathering of believers is an invitation, and it's a sign that points to a completely different kingdom. We don't want you to be well-inspired, well-fed, well-encouraged people living in the wrong kingdom, but we want you to be faithful people living in the kingdom of Jesus. 6 days a week, the world is at work trying to convince you that power and greed and status and popularity and selfish ambitions are what you should be chasing. That's the message of this kingdom. The world tells you that if you had more money, more control, more people who liked you, if you were more successful, then you'd be happy. Then you'd find peace. But Peter stands up in this amazing sermon, and he reminds us that Jesus didn't become emperor of Rome. He didn't want to rule that kingdom. He didn't want to be the best of that kingdom. But Jesus leads an entirely different kingdom. You need to escape from the kingdom of this world to enter into the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Jesus. Jesus invites you to come out of the way of this world and declares, he says, I am the way and the truth and the life. He says, no one gets to see the Father but through me. So how do we respond to this? We believe in Jesus. Everything else will fail you. Everything else will fall short. It will crumble. It will disappoint. It will lead toward despair, destruction, and death. But not Jesus. Put your trust in Jesus and follow him. Confess that Jesus is Lord. No one else, nothing else is Lord. Not your society, not your culture, not your country, not your fears, not the values of the world around you. Jesus is Lord. And if you make this commitment, if you make this confession and are baptized into the kingdom of Jesus and pledge to serve only King Jesus, there will be those around you who don't understand. There will be those around you who will be uncomfortable. When you put your trust in Jesus instead of power and wealth, people will react. I can say that because that's what's been happening for 2,000 years of church history. They won't understand how you will have what you need if you don't worship wealth and money. How are you going to have it? How are you going to have enough? Why? You're not going to have enough if you don't chase after this idol of wealth and money. They won't understand. And they won't understand who's going to take care of you if you don't worship the God of power and control. But our answer is that we don't put our faith in money and we don't put our faith in power and force and control, but our trust, our faith, our allegiance is in King Jesus alone. We've left the kingdom of this world behind for an eternal kingdom where the foundation of everything is God's love for us. And so I share today the same invitation that Peter shared in that first sermon. Let's live the Jesus way. Let's leave the corrupt culture and this twisted generation. Let's enter the kingdom of Christ where there's forgiveness, where there is true peace, where there is true joy. The first step in being the church for Battle Creek is to be the church. To be people who live in this alternative kingdom that Jesus makes possible. If you look around the world around you and say, this isn't how it should be. Man, there's people that are suffering because things aren't quite right here. I wish there was an alternative. I wish there was another way. I wish there was another path. Why does it have to be this way? The sermon of Peter says there is an alternative. There is another way. It doesn't have to be this way. We have another king that we can follow. We have another kingdom that we can live in. And the first step to being the church that's for Battle Creek is just simply be the church. Be the community of believers devoted only to Jesus, embracing the way of Jesus, living and loving as Jesus taught us.